Woo. Peace and love, everybody. Peace and love. I know I always say my videos are going to be short, but this is really short because I'm on a time constraint and I have to hurry up with this because I'm about to leave out the house. So if you don't catch it while I'm live, you can definitely watch this later, share it or however. But the title of this is Stop Faking Your Spiritual Orgasms. Stop faking your spiritual orgasms. And of course I'm going to get into it. And as dirty and as vulgar as this conversation might seem like it's about to be, it's actually very spiritual. Peace and love, sister C-Bay. Where you been? I haven't seen you in forever. Peace and love, sis. Okay. That's that retrograde. About to be seeing some people and hearing names you haven't seen in a while. So come on in here. Peace and love, Islam, sis. But stop faking your spiritual orgasms. And I must try to speak fast and make this quick because, like I said, I'm on a time constraint. I'm about to leave out my house. All right. A lot of people are faking their enlightenment. Okay. And your relationship with the universe, your relationship with the divine has a whole lot to do with your sexual relationship. Okay. How you receive your bliss, how you receive things that feel good. Okay, and this is how you can connect to the divine. And a lot of people are like, well, what does sex have to do with your relationship with the divine? It has a lot to do with it. The universe is going to always, for one, be the first to take your virginity when it comes to your enlightenment, when it comes to your elevation. Okay, the universe is going to be your first because the universe is a part of your consciousness. Okay, the universe is like your king, your Christ, your mind, your light. All right. And so no different from your father or anything like that. This is what's going to filter what you do or do not need in your life. So this is even with religion and Christianity or anything like that. When women's relationship with Christ is so very important, they're still just talking about their conscious mind. You know what I mean? And that's why they say, well, I'm in love with Christ or however, and that right man got to come in and you got to be this, and that for me to want to connect with you. Okay. At the end of the day, that is her father. Okay, so before she can give you any energy, before she can shed any light in your way, a woman has to be in tune with self. So I'm not sure how many of us are familiar with the quote, a woman's heart must be so hidden in God that a man must seek him to find her. So this is what we're saying. Your relationship with the divine has to be so on point that you're not easily distracted. You're not easily being deceived by anyone or anything. And the thing is, as a lot of us are on our path of enlightenment and learning a lot of different things, a lot of us are on our journey. A lot of us are watching trends. Okay, and your spirituality and your relationship with your higher power should not be a trend, and that's what it's starting to be. And that's something that is a part of your culture, and it's something that is a part of you. And a lot of us is just putting it on like a shirt and like an outfit, and just going outside, going, "I'm spiritual." And that's just simply not it. There's a lot of work you got to put in when you're talking about your spiritual journey, when you're talking about your relationship with the higher ups or however. Even when you're talking about your relationship with your ancestors and setting altars and all of those things. I was going to do this later on this evening too, because I'm like, it's all the middle of the day talking about this, but I didn't have time any other time. So don't fake your orgasm, okay? Don't fake it when the universe hit that thing. Okay, the universe, when you having your orgasmic experience spiritually, okay, this is when you're elevating. So this is why you have people who are not just in lower self when it comes to sex and things like that. People who eat differently. People where, I apologize, oh my God. People where you're having a conversation with them and that's what gets them excited. People when you're talking about their mind and things that you say and things that you express get them excited. So we're going past the root, and the sacral chakra. We're going more into our desires, okay? Your solar plexus, your heart chakra, all right? And all of that. Your purpose is a part of your throat chakra, your third eye chakra, your crown, and all of this is when you're talking about people who are part of your purpose. But the point is, a lot of people miss their bus, okay? A lot of people miss their elevation. They miss their flight because they're turning into a trend, because they're listening to their friends talk about their spiritual experience or a dream they had or whatever that led them to the path that they're on. And some of us sit and listen and we just like, ooh, I want to have that same experience, so we make it up, all right? You never came. You never had your orgasm. You never came. So that's why I say the same relationship you have with the divine is the same relationship you have with man or yourself or anything, right? And so that's why I say you got to be able to be put in different positions when it comes to the universe and your relationship with the divine as you go through your journey. You're going to be put in a whole lot of positions that you do or don't like, or some of those positions you didn't know you liked it till you liked it, until you was put in it, okay? And that goes back to your journey and learning about yourself. It's a lot of things we think we're not into, and then you end up being into. And I'm not just talking about the sex right now. I'm talking about when you change your perception and things going on in your mind. And this is why I say your relationship with the divine has to be orgasmic for you to really have that elevation and that rise that a lot of us are looking for. And like I say, a lot of us listen to our friends. We look at stuff on social media. We'll fake it in the game. And you don't want to fake it, because that's when you miss your bus. That's when you miss that real elevation that was there for you, that was meant for you, and all of that. And so you don't want to miss that. That's what I'm saying. Lying, talking about something happened that didn't happen, talking about you felt something that you didn't really feel. Okay, because now you're going to miss it. And so stop worrying about where everybody else is in their path, and who knows if they really came. Okay, you really want to come so that you can really feel it mentally, physically, spiritually. That's why when people have that moment of enlightenment, it's just like boom, you can feel it all through your body. Okay, or when they even, some people talking about raising the kundalini, all of that is something that you feel from your head to your feet, and from your feet to your head. And sometimes it's nothing but an idea, something somebody said, or however. Give me 1 second. Somebody at my door. Give me 1 second. Matter of fact, let me leave this right here. Hold up. Give me 1 second. All is well. Okay. So, Jesus. So the point is, you want to be able to enjoy your relationship by yourself. And this is why we say when you're looking for your mate, or however, is God or Allah manifested in the flesh. It's everything that you've been talking to, everything you've been dealing with, whoever you've been speaking with and having this relationship the whole time manifests in the flesh as your spouse. However, and so this is why you're developing your relationship with yourself, and this is why you climbing this ladder of self is so very important. And that's why I say you can't lie about the times that you don't, you know, because you're gonna miss when it really do happen. Okay, and a lot of us lie, and a lot of us want to impress each other, and a lot of us make a whole lot of posts and say a whole lot of stuff, and you ain't said nothing, you ain't did nothing. And so that's why I say, and this is a separate live that I was gonna do. At the end of the day, don't be fucked. Okay, and don't be fucked in your situation. And when I say that, that's fornicating under the carnal knowledge of the king. Okay, so fornicating under the carnal knowledge of the king, which I say once again, your king is your crown, which is your Christ, which is your consciousness. Okay, so when you're doing something and you're not aware of what you're doing, and you're dealing with somebody and you're not aware of who you're dealing with, this is when we get fucked, you guys. And this is when you can't come, and this is when you can't elevate, and this is when you can't have that spiritual orgasm that we all looking for. And some of us have them all the time, and we call them uploads, downloads, or whatever. I call it an orgasm, because the thing is, however vulgar this may sound right now, your whole journey, everything about your life is vulgar. Okay, that's the whole point of you flipping it and having a flipping life. Everything about your life has been disgusting and vulgar in the first place, which is why you're trying to find the divine. So this is why this conversation is going to go this way, okay? Because we all talk dirty, and we all talk nasty, and we all use our body trying to find elevation. So use that same thing with your mind, okay? And find our partners like so. And quit lying about the experiences that we're having, and be true to ourselves, so we can have a real, true experience, so that we can share that with other people, and we can learn more about ourselves, which a lot of people do not do. Okay, so you learn more about yourself with how the divine talks to you, how things work through you, messages that you get, numbers that you get, when you get the bliss without even talking to another person, when you feel elevated and ain't nobody even touched you. This is a whole nother thing. And so that's why I say, when you're not just operating off the root chakra, you're not talking about just popping your ass and looking cute all day, you move and you attract a different kind of man. Same thing for men. When you're not just talking about sending your dick pics all day, we don't care about all that. Guess what? Because if your mind ain't doing nothing, your penis ain't got no kind of direction that I ain't looking for. I don't want it. Okay? So just like it's some fast women out here, it's some fast men out here. And that goes back to lack of security. Okay, when you don't feel secure in your mind and you don't feel secure in the spirit, all you have left is your body. And not just women do that, men do that too. When a conversation getting dry, that's the next thing he gonna do is send a dick pic, because that's all he got. That's all he talking about. And that's why I say don't get fucked. Don't let anybody fornicate and deal with you under the carnal knowledge of your mind, of your king, of your God, of your Christ. Okay, and that's why I say, if you've never had the elevation yet, guess what, Miss Seeley? Guess what, Miss Seeley? You still a virgin. Miss Seeley, you still a virgin. Because if all somebody ever do is get on top of you and do their business, oh, y'all remember that movie? All somebody do is get on top of you and do their business, and they don't get in here, and they don't talk to your Father first, they don't talk to your Christ first, they don't talk to your God first, which is what most men do when they're trying to court you. If they don't get in your mind first and spiritually connect to you first, you're being fucked, okay? And so we have to understand that, all right? And so a lot of women, we walk around thinking we making love, and somebody's making love to us, and we're having these magical connections with people, and y'all ain't had a conversation about nothing, okay? And a lot of women are giving people their emergencies, and he don't know nothing about your favorite color. He don't know nothing about your favorite food. All he knows is how much your bill is, how much your lights is, how much your phone bill. No, you have to quit giving people those parts of yourself. Okay, the best part of you is between your ears. It's not going to be between your legs. And I say that to brothers too, because I have sons. And a lot of brothers, they think they getting their work just off of their penis, their bodies, and their looks. And these brothers ain't talking about nothing. Same thing with a lot of sisters. So you cannot dress up and be a costume of the spirit. You have to be completely naked, which is why it goes back to having sex and being able to make love with the divine. You have to be completely naked in your truth. And not everybody likes to have sex, I would say, with the lights on. And not everybody likes to have sex completely naked. Some people still got to have something on and cover it up some type of way, because there's shame here. Okay, and so you don't get to really elevate the way you want to. You never really get to have that bliss that you want to. And that's why I say, when we have that aha moment, when you have that bliss, when you have that elevation, when that thing goes all the way through your body and you can't wait to share that experience with somebody else, this is when you know you're a place you're supposed to be. You know, and it's a lot of students who are walking around who want to be more than what they are. And I say there's nothing wrong with being a student. That's the best place you can be, is being a student. The best place you can be is to be able to learn and know what kind of student you are, so then you know what type of teacher you are. And a lot of people want to drive a car and nobody wants to just ride. We have to enjoy the ride first before we start to learn how to drive. You have to learn how to walk. You have to learn how to talk. It's a whole lot of things that we have to do. And a lot of people think it's as simple as wrapping your hair up and doing a few yoga poses. Sorry, doesn't work like that. You need to get past your traumas with your mama, your daddy, whoever violated you, mentally, physically, spiritually. A lot of us have been spiritually molested and don't even know who we are and don't even know how to go about our relationship with God. So that's why I say, hey, a lot of us might have some children. You might have been thinking you was having sex all the time, but you was really being fucked. And not only that, you've never had sex before, okay? It's a difference. If you're not even breathing right, you can't say you've ever had sex. If you can't even love anybody, especially yourself, you can't say that you've elevated or went anywhere. If you don't have a map for where you're going, you can't say any of those things. And a lot of us operate in lower self. And there's nothing wrong with lower self. Don't throw your lower self away. Your lower self protects higher self. The God protects the dog. The dog protects the God. And I say that all the time. So you have to know how you are when you don't have it, when you don't have the money, when you don't have the time, when you don't have the energy. All of that is lower self. All of that is simply saying, this is what I do in survival mode. But in higher self, my goodness, when I put up the time, the energy, and all of those things, I can move up. I can go further. And a lot of us don't do that in our relationships with other people, and then with our relationship with ourselves. So you never get anywhere. You're always stagnant. You're still always parked in life, and you never move any further. And so that's why I say, really get to know you. Really get to know you and elevate, and really get to have that build up. And that's why I say it's just like sex. The universe is going to put you in a position that you ain't never been in. Universe, I don't like it like that. Universe don't care how you like. We going to do it just like this. Bend over. Open up. Drive. Do this. Ride. However, the point is, the universe is trying to teach you something. And you need to know your boundaries and what your boundaries are not, and where you will go or where you can't go, or however, and where your fears are. And a lot of us won't experience that. We'll watch somebody else's experience. And the thing is, we watch somebody else's experience so much that we think that it's ours. This is why I don't watch TV. I can't watch TV. I can't even watch or read fiction books. I can only read things based off facts because it goes back to your subconscious, right? Things that you put into your mind, things that you think that your mind thinks is happening, all right? Things that you start thinking that is your life and these things are taking place with you, or you put it in your subconscious that these things could potentially happen, even if these are things that you don't want to happen. So you have to have structure to your subconscious if you're going to be doing those things, so you can separate the real from the fake. And a lot of us can't do that, so that's why a lot of us go watch movies and love and hip hop and I don't know, whatever stuff that people watch, and then you try to play those things out in your life, or you start to think that those are your issues too, and you start thinking your man cheating too, or you start thinking your friend trifling too because you've seen it on TV, and you bring up issues in your life that are not even real. All right, and it's taken away from your bliss. It's taken away from everything that you could be having. But like I say, you have to have a relationship with the divine so much that you don't mind what position you put in, so much that you don't mind the times when the universe says, let me in. When the universe come in the wee hours of the night and roll you over and say, let me get some. This is why a lot of us spend so much time up at 2 and 3 and 4 in the morning and can't sleep or however. Because when they say God is trying to tell you something, God is simply trying to tell you something. The universe is speaking to you. And that's why I say you can get your bliss in the middle of the night. You can get your bliss at 2 in the morning. You can get your bliss the first thing in the morning, which is your dew in the morning, which is Venus. Venus is what feeds you. Venus is what feeds you, and that's the first bliss of the day, your first prayer of the day, your first orgasm of the day, your first cup of water of the day, your first time eating the day. All of that is Venus, okay? That dew in the morning, right in between, nighttime and right before the sun rises, which is what we call it, the dawn. All right, this is what's a part of your elevation, you guys. Getting that first dew in the morning. All of that helps you to rise and elevate. All of that helps you with your relationship with yourself. And that's why I say you can't fake that thing. And a lot of people do. Because a lot of people want to be in these spiritual groups and these spiritual clubs and all of these things and be able to fellowship with other people who are teachers or enlighteners or whatever. And so a lot of us will fake it till we make it. And that is not what you do in spirituality. You cannot fake it till you make it. You got to be who you are, and you got to fly in the existence that you are, in the existence that you were given, and in what you were given as far as your vehicle. And a lot of us are not happy in the vehicle we're in, so we try to vicariously live through other people and other people's experiences. And this is why you have a lot of copying and pasting of somebody else's post or things like that, of people lying about their experiences and things that are happening in their life, and that's simply not true. People, coming up with these bogus, crazy stories and explaining them and all that, things that never even happened. And that goes back to, you don't know, you never came before. So that's why a virgin will sit there and lie. A virgin will sit there and lie about an experience they never had. Anybody never did nothing with you. You ain't do nothing. And you can tell. You can tell. Okay? Because a lot of people who and I just woke up in the morning and it was just like this. It doesn't work like that. A lot of us had to face a lot of trauma. A lot of people had to cry. A lot of people didn't even realize they were having their awakening when they were young. So a lot of people as children were having a lot of issues, sleeping at night, resting at night, dealing with death, family members, all of those things. A lot of feelings inside of us that we haven't been able to explore. And then it goes back to the spiritual molestation, because you can't speak to somebody else about it, because now you blaspheming God, or your family they don't have the answers for the questions you're asking, or they want to pray over you and all of those things, but nobody has answers, which is why I say that's spiritual molestation. So that's why I say some of us never had our spiritual elevation, but some of us have been spiritually molested. You've never even gotten to explore your relationship with the divine, and nobody can tell you right or wrong. And then our parents had their own fears, so we'll ask them questions or however, and they sending us to church, and that's sending us even more in the way of confusion for a lot of us that has done that to us. And which is why a lot of people are very much offended. And you talk about church or anything like that, a lot of us is like, hell no. But that goes back to your journey and what you've been taught and what you've learned and how you packed your bags. If you packed your bags properly in the situations you've been in, if you packed your bags properly spiritually when it's time for you to take that flight. And some of us are too heavy and too burdened to even take the flight. And that goes back to your spiritual elevation. Sometimes you can't move and you won't move because of the things that you are still letting hold you back. And so that's why I say you got to be completely free. You got to be completely open. You got to really let the universe in. You got to really let the divine in. And we have to let go of a lot of things that constrain us from being who we are and who we're supposed to be. And so that's why I say free yourself. Work on your relationship with yourself. Master yourself. That is the masturbation of it all. Master yourself. Know how to please self. You know, follow self. Follow the relationship with the divine. I'm sorry, somebody sent a question. The pleasure or the principle relating to? I'm talking about the principle. So I'm relating your relationship with the divine with sex, but I'm not actually talking about sex. But I'm saying, because we, of course, a lot of us are very sexual creatures, that's the same thing though. You align your relationship with the divine that same way, because that goes back to that bliss or that elevation that you get. It's a mental thing. And that's why I say the orgasm here ain't got nothing to do with orgasm here, which is why orgasm down here is what's so much more powerful when it starts here. So that even goes back to a conversation with a man and a woman. So that's why I say, if a man is laying down with you or a woman is laying down with you and y'all never had a conversation, a real conversation, you know, I'm talking about those night stands, you don't know each other like that, or however, that's why I say both of y'all being fucked right now, because both of y'all had no proper exchange of information for that to really be something that you guys are both going to elevate from. So that's lower self-sex. That's lower self-gratification. Nobody's getting anything. Can't nobody eat off that later. There's nothing to sustain you from that type of encounter. So when people have a conversation with each other, those conversations, you on the phone all night, 8 and 9 hours, what's your favorite color, what's your mama name, what street you grew up on, those are the conversations when people really fall in love, okay? They already had sex. That's the sex right there. Okay, so that's why I say the sex is when you're having a conversation with somebody. When somebody knocks on your door and wants to really court you spiritually, and they want to speak to your father, going back to your mind, your conscious. They want to get into there. They want to get to who's guarding you, who's protecting you, who's loving you, and all of those things, which is a relationship with yourself. A lot of people only want a relationship with your body. They don't want a relationship with you. And that's why I say, for men and women, what's down here is not the most powerful part of you. That's not the most powerful part of you. This is the most powerful part of you. Yeah, you can bring people a whole lot of pleasure. You can make babies and all those things. But that goes back to lower self. We can have ideas. We can make babies and all of that. But if we didn't meet each other here, everything that comes down here has nothing to do with nothing. And so there has to be a meeting of the minds, then a meeting of the hearts, then a meeting of everything else. Because that intensifies the feeling of the sex. And so that's why I say, when you have a relationship with the divine first, when the relationship with the divine is on point, and when the divine is tapping that thing at 2 and 3 in the morning, and you waking up and you excited, and you're reading books, and you meditating, and you getting these downloads and uploads and all this information, and you just like, man, I'm just loving life, and you can't wait to the next moment to do those things, that's some real sex we talking about. And that's why I say, don't miss out on your orgasm. Do not miss out on your orgasm, because a lot of us lie about our experiences because we want to fit in. So that even goes back to when we were younger. And that's why I say, even when we were younger, some of us wasn't having sex yet, but was still lying about having sex and lying about having an orgasm. And that's why even we gradually, as we are now as adults, yeah, we done had the sex part, but you ain't had the real sex. You ain't mentally did nothing. You haven't been mentally stimulated. So that's why a lot of us go back to lying again about experiences we didn't have. And then you miss your bus. Then you miss your plane when it's time to really have that moment. And so that's why I say, having sex spiritually is definitely different from having sex with just the body. And that's why I say that's a lower self experience. When somebody just, I don't know, touching on you and sucking on your titties and, I don't know, licking all on you. I mean, yeah, it feel good, but it feel a whole lot better when you know that brother knows some stuff. Right? It's a whole lot better when you know that's a lasting effect on that feeling, and he can back it up with conversation and how you feel, and you say, I feel like this, and he can back it up. It feel a whole lot better when he's tapping it from the back, when he can also tap it from the front now. Okay? It's different. Okay? And the same thing with brothers. It's a whole lot different when you're spending time with a sister and you're giving a sister your body. And you don't feel as bad when you're giving her your light, your sperm, any of those things, when that sister has gotten in your mind. You understand? When a sister has gotten in your mind and you know what her mind is and you know what kind of soul she has, you don't mind sharing your ideas. You don't mind sharing, you know, that pillow talk is different, okay, when you know you're sitting beside God. It's different when you know that the seeds you plant gonna go somewhere. My God. You know, it's different. But it's different when, you know, you lay up with somebody and y'all not talking about nothing. That's why I say that's what fucking is. That's what fucking is. You're fucking and you're fornicating under the carnal knowledge of the king of your mind. That's what fucking is. So for me, what's a curse word and all of those things? A curse word is can't. A curse word is don't. A curse word is what you will never do. A curse word is when you speak on yourself against what can never happen. Okay, but fuck and shit and damn and all of that, which I said before, that's neither here nor there. We've been taught that. Okay, and so that's why I say, you know, elevate, come. Have that conversation with yourself and be able to be open about anything, especially when it comes to sex. And a lot of us are not open about sex, and that's why I say a lot of us are not open with our sexuality and with our spirituality. A lot of us have been traumatized in that area. So that's why a lot of people don't believe in God or don't get to have that experience of knowing how good God is or how the universe truly works, or however, because they've been violated. And that's why I say, and it because they've constantly just been fucked and nobody ever came and gave a fuck, and they never mattered enough to anybody to truly let somebody else help them and elevate them. And some people never even love themselves enough, and some people have been violated to the point they won't even please themselves. And that's why I'm saying your relationship with the divine, which is you, which is your breath, is very important. And that's why the relationship with yourself when you're having sex or any of those things is important. Your breathing is very important. And a lot of us can't breathe properly alone. And that's why a lot of us are so dependent on other people and exchanges and even the physical sex of it all. Because we feel like that's the only time we matter. We feel like that's the only way that we can connect to other people, and it's way bigger than that. Okay, and so that's why I say to have a sexual experience with another person, with God manifested in the flesh, you have to experience it with yourself first, and you know that it's a true thing, and then you know what you can give to somebody else, and then you know how you like it, so you can give it to somebody else. You know, I know how I like it, and I know I'm gonna get me, so I'm gonna automatically get you. So let me just focus on you. And if both people are focusing on the other person because you already know how to get you, and I'm not just talking about sex, I'm even just talking about spiritually. You see what I'm saying? It's a two-way street when you're having this conversation. If I can get me, and I know what I know mentally, physically, and spiritually, I'm automatically, all my dealings are about my partner and them getting theirs. Then their elevation mentally, physically, and spiritually. You understand? So if I keep myself on point all the time, all I ever have time and energy for is to give somebody else my energy and put somebody else on point all the time. Because that's all we really want, is somebody that understands us, somebody who has the same spiritual uniform as us, somebody who sees things the same way as us. You get what I mean? I'm sorry, somebody posted something. I'm about to get out of here, y'all. I gotta go. That's why I said this was quick, and that's why I was talking so fast. Therefore, anything below the navel button is the lower extremities, sacred mind exchange, or sex. There are two compartments relating to the brain, which is not the mind. The feminine, masculine attributes go. Get back to me later, but now contribute subject matter. Oh, you talking to me? I got you. Inbox me. Let's converse on this thing. I mean, sound like you're trying to do it to me right now. And that's what doing it to somebody is. For me, okay, I love intellectual conversations, and I love, I'm a sapiosexual, most definitely, and I love when I see a post or when I have conversations and exchanges with a brother, and he say something just so on point, and he just leave me, I'm just done the rest of the day. See, those are the spiritual orgasms I'm talking about, when they say something to you and just leave you thinking all day, and I'm like, man, how you know God like that? Like, I like brothers that say stuff like that. I like posts like that. It takes a lot for me to get excited about your dick pic. That's just me personally. I'm not saying your dick not nice. I'm not saying it don't look good. I ain't saying don't send the picture. I'm just saying I need a whole lot more before I want it in the physical, before I'm interested. And I need to know what your mouth talking about. So I ain't saying don't send it. I'm just saying I'm not interested until I know what that mind do. Because other than that, it's just another penis. And it's a whole lot of them out here. It's a whole lot of them. Just like it's a whole lot of yannis out here. So that's why I say, ladies, hey, at the end of the day, one yanni ain't too much different from the next. So now you got to let your mind be something different. Same thing with brothers. Hey, you know what? He got good D, he got good D. Now what you talking about, though? Because that's the only thing that's going to separate y'all. Is what your conversation like and what his conversation like. And that's what's going to get him a response back in the DM and not you. Or however. So we got to understand that. And first, we also talking about the quality of people that you're even talking about. And that's why I say, it's some first couple of words out of somebody's mouth, you can tell where they're at. You really can tell where they're at. You can tell if they lost. You can tell if they're looking for the map. You can tell if they found. You can tell if they're the ones, you know, controlling the journey. You can tell where somebody is in the way that they converse. Okay, and so a lot of people, if they can't go to places you go, or if they've never been to places that you went, that's why they can't go where you going, and you can tell, and that's why they can't ride with you, and that's why they can't converse with you, and they're not a part of any of the things that are taking place right now. I wish I listened. My kids, right? Peace and love, Slim. Peace and love, girl. Peace and love, Derek. Peace and love, Black Moses. Peace and love, everybody that was commenting. I apologize because I was going in. But peace and love, Misha. Walking Testimony, Marshall. Peace and love, Tremaine Smalls. Half y'all I was already talking to and I didn't even say anything. Latoya, Hobson, Mike Rebel, Tawana. Oh, hey, Tawana Rowland. You know, some of y'all cannot pronounce your names, but I love you. But all is well. So I always just say to yourself, understand your journey, understand where you are. Do not fake your orgasm. Do not fake your enlightenment. Just let it come to you as it comes. You got to be open, you got to be loose, and you got to be, you know, ready for those things. You can't just jump on it and just make it happen. Okay? You can't just get all aggressive with the universe. You got to let the universe ease up in that thing. Okay, and I'm talking like that because it's true. The universe is going to ease up in this thing and get up in that thing, and you're just going to glide and enjoy the experience. And that's why I say you're naturally going to connect to people who have had that same experience. And then that's when you converse with these people, that's a whole nother kind of high. And if you ever was to make love with one of those people, that's a whole nother type of love. All right, all is well. There are stairs, there are steps to take when it comes to your ascension. There are steps to take, and I just say, you know, don't miss a step. You know how some people are tall enough and long enough, they have long enough legs, they can skip a couple of steps, they can jump up and, you know, skip 2 or 3 steps at a time. This isn't that kind of thing. This is a step-by-step kind of thing. You got to get every step. You have to take every step so that you can feel it, because every step is a different area in your life that's getting touched on. And so that's why I say it's a process. And when you have it, you're going to have it. You're going to feel it. You're going to know. You're going to know, you know, oh, man, God is real. Allah is real. You know, however, whoever your higher power is and whatever you name it, the divine is so fantastic and is real. I'll just say that. And you have to feel it. It's not always something you're going to see. This is something you got to feel first. All is well, you guys. And so you don't have to fake it. You don't have to be around other people who are having that experience. And you're like, well, why haven't I had my experience? And that goes back to some of us have had the experience and don't even realize it, you know. And some of us are being used in somebody else's experience and don't even realize it. So that's why I say don't be fucked. Be in control of what's going to be happening for you. Don't let somebody else just control what the hell is taking place with you and spells and things that somebody else is saying to you, because all of that has a lot to do with you and takes over your mind, your body, and your spirit. And this is when you're off your square because you let somebody else come in and violate. Know yourself. Stand on yourself. And everything else is just going to happen the way it's supposed to happen. Just flow with yourself. And so that Neptune retrograde is simply that. You're going back to get your bliss. You're going back to get your recovery. You're going back to meet the divine. Okay? And we all have to stop rubbernecking in life. When we're on the road in life, okay, in these spiritual streets, some of us like to rubberneck when we see somebody else getting pulled over, or we see somebody else colliding with somebody else. Even on our posts and all of that, this is what we all do. Okay? So that's why I say stop rubbernecking and stop taking the scenic route when it comes to real situations in your life. Don't take the scenic route. Slow down. See what's happening. Pay attention and look at details of things that's happening. And this is how you get to come slowly but surely, you know, bring your relationship with the divine together and also add to your journey. Okay? Peace and love, you guys. I had to talk fast because I have to go now. I may go live again later. I know I always say that, so don't call me a liar yet until it happened. But I might go live again later because I really had to rush this one and I have to go now. But peace and love, you guys, and have a good day.